Hello, creative collective. How are you doing today? Welcome to Sundays with Suits. I'm Seth David Suits Healy, and I hope you are having an awesome, amazing, fantastic, super, stupendous, strong, spiritual, satisfying, saturated Sunday. So, today I thought we would talk about power and our place in the world. Hello, Bridget. How are you? Hello, Irene. So we got to do a song for Bridget and Irene. Ready? Hey you, what you doing? Are you trying to get answers to things you already know? Confirmations coming so. Do 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 do. Thanks, Irene and Bridget, for tuning in tonight. So, talking about your power and your place in the world, and how at times we lose our place in the world, and at times we lose our power in the world, right? I came up with this idea because in my new job, I learned about the idea of a shell. Now, we all know what a shell is, right? We have seashells, and you pull the shell apart, and there's a pearl inside. But I want you to think about something right now. Right now, I want you to imagine that you're just a shell. Now, I can already hear my wife being like, "You should never say that about anybody," right? But so many of us are feeling like that, especially after COVID-19. During COVID-19, we felt like, Where's our pearl? Hello, Paranormal Nation Radio. Paranormal Nation Radio. Do, do, do. So we felt like we are shells. And so when I was coming up with this week's idea, I was thinking, okay, so what else does it have a shell, right? So the turtle has a shell, right? And that the turtle teaches us strategy, right? It teaches us to not exert ourselves in a crazy amount of like, we're like this one. So when you are existing, right? At least that's what turtle does for me. Yeah, turtle is an ancient symbol, um, land and sea. So duality, diversity. Hello, Bill of Rights Network. How are you? This is someone new. So, Bill of Rights Network, thank you for tuning in. My name is Suits. Do, do, do. Welcome. Come on in. All right. So, talking about the turtle, the ancient symbol of knowledge, right? Wisdom, right? Just and we all, if you're familiar with spirit animals or power animals, I highly recommend you even look more into turtle. But so shell, and then I was thinking, what else has a shell? Besides the pearl, but a shell. What's inside? What's inside? And then I got to thinking, okay, so and anybody who knows me knows I'm not much of a meditator, right? I'm not. I wish I was, and I'm working on it. I really am. I promise. I promise. I promise. I promise. Just like I'm going out and walking every day, 2 or 3 times a day. I started walking to find my cat, but now I just enjoy it. So I turn on my wrestling tunes and I start walking. So when we're looking at who we are inside and what we do inside, right? What we project out to the world, right? Our power, right? And how we don't want to just share it with everybody, right? We don't want to share it with everybody. Let people earn that privilege. And so many of us, I've been guilty of it. I'm still guilty of it to this day. When I was a talent manager, I would just give up my weekends, everything, blah, blah, blah. I'd ask other talent managers, I'd be like, how? How are you successful if you turn your phone off at 7 o'clock? And the talent manager told me, he said, I have a life outside of this. This is my job. When I cross that threshold, that's my home, that's my family, right? I respect what I do, but I'm not bringing it home with me. When you start bringing stuff home with you that you don't need to bring home with you, right? Danger can ensue, right? So we have to be careful. So we've all said at one point or another, I'm a shell of who I was, right? The person you thought you were, right? The person who you thought you were. And then someone says, well, let's look at it. Let's do a self-examination. Let's look at who we are, right? This internal, know thyself, until thy own self be true, which we talked about last week. Let's examine ourselves. That's easier said than done for some people, because going deep down in, right, looking into what chakras are unbalanced, right, and why they're unbalanced, the real reason, not the reason you tell your friends and your acquaintances, the real reasons, right? Why I have a bad root chakra, right? Why I'm unbalanced, why I feel this way and that, right? Now, something I thought about this week as I'm preparing for tonight was that we're in this mindset of oversharing. We feel like everybody wants to know everything about us, especially with social media, right? I've been guilty of it. I've told you all my stories. I just see people sharing so much, and that there has to be mystery, right? You know, I came up with the phrase when the book I'm writing is, I don't need to know what color everybody's underwear is, or if you're wearing underwear. That's not my business. It's not going to affect me any other way, right? No way. You have your privacy, right? And you need to respect that I don't want to know everything about you, and you don't want to know everything about me. When we start giving our power away, right? Making sure my door was closed so dog didn't get his dog food. So I apologize. When we start giving away information, knowledge, resources, right? We're giving away energy. We're giving away power. Now, here's the thing. Holistic workers, especially new intuitives, new mediums, new Reiki practitioners, new energy workers, you know, you're like, well, I have to learn. Like, I have to, you know, I, I'm, I'm in this kind of this rut, you know, like I went to training or I read books or however you did it. And I got to get out there, right? Because this is what I want to do. This is what I can do, right? This is how I was lucky enough that I went through training and then I had a place where I could work. Very, very rare. Very, very rare. Right. So when I see people on TikTok and on YouTube and all these kind of things, and I see how they've made this brand, and we're going to talk about that a little bit later, you've got to give them props, applauding, because it's hard. Me and my wife were talking today when we come back from Ghostbusters Afterlife, which I highly recommend, that we have to give these influencers and the social media people props because they're on 24/7, right? They're doing things 2 months ahead of time, right? They're probably more scheduled than me, you, and all of our friends, right? So now you might say, Suits, what does that have to do with power and my place in the world and what the topic of is? And y'all know we sort of start this off a little chaotic, crazy here on Sundays with Suits because we talk about everything. We talk about everything. That's why I was talking about strength, saturation, spirituality, supernatural, all that kind of stuff. All right, Carl. Thank you so much. Yeah. So thank you for tuning in. I appreciate it. So Carl is a producer. So if y'all looking for somebody to produce one of your shows or ask questions, please reach out to Carl. He's been a strong supporter of the show for a while. So thank you, Carl. Thank you so much. So let's get down to the show. So I started talking about shells, so we're going to get back to that. Starting the show. Hey, you. What you doing? Are you searching for answers that you already know? Confirmations, do, do, do. Or maybe a UFO, do, 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 do. Or a Bigfoot, do, 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 do. Or are you just trying to understand your place in this world? Come on in, my friend. Raise a glass, raise a flask, whatever serves your task. Ooga Sooth, everyone. Welcome to Sundays with Suits. Tonight's episode is about your power, how to maintain it, and how not to give it away, and how to respect your place in this world and not let people take that away from you. Okay, so it's very, very important. I've been liking this deck of cards that I got. The heart. Wish I knew the name of it off the top of my head, but I don't. This card's been coming up a lot. Love abounds. Right? Love abounds. So a lot of times when we're looking for that love in our life, that special someone, right? We think that we're this. Our friends and our family know that we're that or those, right? But we think we're this, right? And it's hard to come to terms with who you are, right? Who you really are. Not who you want to be, but who you are. Identity is one of the most powerful energies in this world. Because when you know thyself, right? When you know thyself and when you're true to your identity and who you are, no one can stop you. It is when they trick you and they're like, no, that's not who you are. No, you're better at doing this, that, these, and those, right? A lot of teachers do this and they do it unintentionally, right? They're trying to be hard, give you hard knock life, right? Like, oh, we're just going to, they'll get stronger, da, 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 da. But some people aren't built like that. I wasn't built like that at first. I had a counselor tell me I wasn't going to go to college. He said, you're just going to go to community college. Like that was a bad thing, right? But that's what he said to me. I'll never forget it. I was at my school. The counselor said, he said, well, Seth David, I see you're applying for all these colleges. And you probably have a Mike Tyson's chance in hell of beating Mike Tyson's ass before getting into any of these colleges. So it was hard love, right? It was a message that was well intended, right? But I didn't understand it. What was I, like 19, 18 at the time? Maybe something like that. 17. Probably 18. And I was angry and I was mad. And the reason why I tell you this is because when we get angry, when we get emotional, right? We start to put stuff inside us that's not necessarily the best, right? Some people drink, some people smoke, some people chase the opposite sex or chase their desires and their heart's desires, and they think they know what they need, and they're just trying to fill this shell. They're trying to fill this shell because if they fill it, then all these little pieces, all these little elements are going to make this great formula, and it's going to make boom, 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 like a Superman or a Superwoman, right? And they're going to be great, and they'll be awesome and popular, and everything's going to be successful. And a lot of times, it just leads to therapy. Lots and lots of therapy. either paid therapy or, like, if you're an artist, writing out stuff, poetry, all this kind of like painful agony, right? Because you're tearing up these different parts of you that you thought were you and they're not you. And so you start freaking out and you're like, this was me. This was me. Right? So acknowledging who you are, right? Acknowledging the self, right? I tell investigators before they even go into a home, before they even go into a location, identity of self is key. Because say they go in someplace that they should not be, right? Not a healthy place, right? For a young investigator or not an unseasoned investigator. That can mess with you. I've been there. When my father died and I came back to Mississippi and I was investigating all over, right? And I was every weekend, I was driving down to Alabama, or I was driving all over Mississippi. I wasn't thinking about who I was as an investigator. I was thinking, oh, I need the best camera, I need the best equipment, I need this, I need that. I need to fill this shell up so that when they see me, I'm this shiny little shell, right? I'm dressed nice, right? I can articulate my words most of the time, right? What I am presenting to the world, what I'm presenting, my perception, right? That I'm putting out, my Care Bear stare, of who I think I am, right? And I was lucky enough, I had people on the team who were like, hey, no, you don't need to do all this. No, just listen, right? I had a few people take me under their wing, right? They're like, oh, you're an intuitive. Ooh, you're a medium, right? Wouldn't be till years later that I got certified and took classes and really learned what the hell they were talking about. And that's our problem with a lot of intuitives and mediums and energy workers, that people start saying things to these people and they get these grandiose ideas in their head, right, of who they are and what they are to become. I've done it. I've had friends that it's happened to them, right? I've had enemies where it's happened to them, right? So we just have to be safe. When someone says, oh, the sky is blue, right? And that's what we hear. But, they say the sky is blue. And we hear, oh, the sky is blue with a silver line around it. And the clouds are puffy white. And oh my God, right? We add our own little stuff here and there because we want to make it suit us, right? We have to be real with ourselves. We have to be real with ourselves. If someone says something about us, right, we have options. We have the power to accept it, right? Say, oh, it's coming from a good place. No, it's not coming from a good place. This is going to help me grow. I'm going to learn something new about myself that someone else pointed out, right? So for a long time, I thought I was just a normal guy. I know. What color was my sky? It was not blue. Probably like green and sapphire with like unicorns and everything. And I had a friend sit me down and was like, listen, we love you. We do. But you're intense. And I was like, I'm relaxed. I'm cool. I'm chill. And so they had me go over evidence, because I had the great camera and I was recording all the paranormal investigations and all that. And I'd have some footage of me. And I saw how I was. And I was intense. And then I thought, if I'm this way in something that I brand new on, right? Like brand new, how am I as an actor, as a storyteller? How am I as this? How am I as a person? And I started doing a lot of self actualizations and like looking at who I was and accepting things that you know, you know, realities, right? Realities. When we start accepting the realities that we are in, right? Now that is not, I'm not saying don't dream. Dream a dream, right? Love it. Live it. I'm all about dreaming. I'm all about, chasing your heart's desires. I think it's one of the greatest things in the world to do, but do it realistically. A lot of times we see ourselves as one thing in this pursuit, right? Like we're this close. How many times you had a colleague or a friend come to you and be like, hey, so listen, uh, I'm producing this movie, right? Produce this movie, and all I need is about $3,000, and man, let me tell you, like it's gonna go to festivals, man. I'm telling you, it's gonna be great. We're gonna do it. Like it's gonna do it. It's gonna go great. We got a deal with Netflix, and it's bullshit. It's bullshit. He believes or she believes in their product, right? In their work, and that's great. But they're betting and they're taking a gamble that yes, you viewer, you out there, right, are going to believe in their product as much as they do. And man, it's a blessing when that happens. But honesty needs to be put in that shell. You need to put honesty in that shell, right? And authenticity in that shell, right? When you start putting the high virtues, right? When you start putting the things in your life that only resonate at a high frequency, right? And you follow that mantra of, you know, healing is life and life is healing, right? And you look at the world and you're realistic. You don't put, the rose-colored glasses on, right? You're like, "Ooh, okay." It's like when you watch a movie and they pack the movie full of nostalgia, right? For nostalgia's sake, and there's no structure, right? You're like, "Oh, they just want to put structure." Same as if that person that said, "Oh, we just need that $3,000, that $3,000, man, we got the deal. We just got this, da, da, da." And he probably needs more about 10 grand. So he's going to tell you that story and he's going to tell 3 or 4, 5 other people that story, right? And then he ruined it for the person who only needs 3 grand, right? Be authentic. Don't ruin it for other people. I'll never forget, I was in college and they were talking about some privilege they used to have. And I don't remember exactly what it was, but the privilege, right, was taken away. And my class never got to have it, right? They never got to have it because these other people abused it. So to cover themselves, the school's like, "No, just boom, we're not even going to risk it." And that's not fair. And I know life's not fair. I get that. I heard that my whole life. Life's not fair, right? You're right. It's not fair. But I'm going to work hard. I'm going to work hard. I have this, and I got this from, I watched Hollow Man when I was a kid. You should be working. And in high school, I had this above my head, just like in the movie, like this. And these are all around my house. My wife just loves these, let me tell you. This one's in my closet, so it's not too much interface. But it's a reminder. I'm a person with words. So if you're a person who needs words, put them out there. Put them out there, right? If you know what works for you, put that in your shell. Build up that shell, right? If someone is telling you that you're the greatest, okay, ask the hard questions. Why am I the greatest? Why would they say that? Right? Now, you may get some cool insight into the self that you don't realize, right? Or you maybe see they're blowing smoke up your ass, right? And they're just trying to get on your good side. They're trying to be like, hey, buddy, let's rub some shoulders, let's do this. And so it's hard. I know in the metaphysical world, the holistic world, the film world, the theater world, it's hard to find good people, great people, because everybody wants something, right? One of my clients years ago was just this, like, he constantly worked. He was constantly, always on set. He knew all these producers and directors, right? And I asked him, I said, so have you ever thought about calling in a favor? Right? And he said, no, because then it's not mine. It's theirs. I'm going to earn every single thing I get. He said, there's nothing more awesome and great and fantastic than when you're on set and the director says, oh, we would have just let you walk on here. You should have called, like, if you would have let us know. And he didn't want that. He didn't want to take the roles away. He wanted to be in the game. He wanted to learn how to do the right audition. He wanted to learn about himself, right? We have to start that. We have to learn about who we are. When we stop thinking about who we are, right, that's when other shit starts coming in, right? That's when you have these great investigators, these great healers, these great other people, right? Light workers, artisans, and they've been either they're hearing stuff like, oh yeah, okay, right, yeah, you do this and you do that, okay, all right, cool, and okay, right, and they don't know which way's up, which way's down, because they've been fed all this stuff, and they don't even know what they're eating, right? Here's the horror for you. Imagine a vegetarian, and I don't mean disrespect anybody, but just want you to imagine this. Imagine you giving a hamburger, you're giving a burger to somebody, and you say, oh, guess what? This burger, it's a vegan burger, it's fine. And have the vegetarian eat it, right? And then you say, oh, that's not the vegan burger. That's the horror and the lack of respect is immense, right? This is a way a person chooses to live, right? And that person, because they didn't look and study and say, hey, okay, I know this person is not a meat eater, right? They're not a meat eater. They're a vegan. So we need to make sure there's something, right? Not just, oh, we'll just go. And so much of today's life is like that, where they just don't care. They don't care. And so they throw stuff in shells and they sell it as one thing to you. And then you're like, oh, okay, there's a bunch of stuff in this little shell. I'm just going to take my... Okay. I'm going to feel good. And then you're like Tin Man. Because the stuff has gotten to your body and to your aura, and you don't know why it's there. And then when they say it, when you go to a holistic worker, right, or an energy worker, and they're like, or you're on an investigation, like, dude, are you okay? Hey, you all right? You look a little pale. You're like, you need to sit down. You've lived a lie, and it's been a beautiful lie to you. You live this lie of, hey, I am this, that, these, and those. All I need is $3,000 to make my movie, right? When I really need 10 grand. All I need is this to excel in my holistic work practices. All I need. And you're not looking at what you have. That is how you maintain your power. Looking at what you have. When you start looking at all this other stuff, that's when people come in and they find ways to use you and that sometimes abuse you and disrespect you. Now, here's the thing. Sometimes they don't mean to do that, right? They're just like, oh, well, this person loves doing this and they're good at it and blah, blah, and it's good for their resume and it's good for their experience and, right? Because that's their mindset. Okay, great. Remember, everybody's like, they're not worrying about what's in the shell. They're like, oh, shell. Okay. Boom, put it on. They're not worried. They don't care. So you have to care. You have to make sure that every hamburger that you eat is the hamburger you want to eat. Every beverage that you drink is the beverage that you want. Every this, that, these, and those is what goes with you. It's not going to take away from, say you just had a chakra alignment, right? And then, someone comes in and is like, well, it starts just pouring down on you like a torrential rain tempest, right? Well, damn, I just had a chakra alignment. And now this person, no respect, no boundaries. So knowing boundaries is also how you maintain your power. Knowing, hey, I am not going to allow this person to come into my auric field and take away. I'm not going to take away. He's not going to take, he or she or it or them, they're not going to take away from me. Right? I've worked hard for what I have. Right? I've worked hard for what I have. And if I'm going to extend myself in any direction, right? There's going to be a balance. There has to be an energetic balance. Because if they just keep taking and taking and taking your time and you're getting nothing out of it in return, either your shell will become empty, right? With a little few things that you have that like I have blue eyes. And I was baptized. And I love puppy dogs and kitty cats. Like the things that you just know. They'll be there. But the stuff that you discovered, right? And that when you discover, you're like, oh, so that's how I do it in proper investigation. Or, oh, that's how I talk to a customer on the phone. The right way, the proper way. Or, oh, that's how I that's how I bounce back from heartbreak. Love abounds. Looking at the world and having the mindset that greatness abounds, love abounds, but also being and understanding realistically, not always. Love is there. Like I tell you, I had that deacon at my church for years when I was younger say, God's everywhere, man. God's everywhere. Right? And when you're 40, almost 40, you're like, oh, I see what he was saying. Love abounds. Virtue abounds. All the opportunities for love abound. Opportunity abounds. What you do with that opportunity, how you take a lemon and make lemonade, that's on you. That's on you. Right? If you are doing a show, right? And you have 4 people watching, right? And you start saying, oh, I'm not going to watch them. I'm just going to sit here. Hey, guys, how y'all doing? Y'all watch that game? Right? They didn't come to hear about a game. Know what you're doing. Believe in yourself. Believe in what you're doing. That's how you maintain your power. That's how you maintain your place. You know your purpose. You take your purpose and your passion and you put those two together and make a great little sandwich. So Bridget says, exactly, this is why I don't talk to family outside my husband and children, my mom. So I respect that. and it's hard because you have to have those boundaries, right? You have to have those boundaries. And I have met people in my life, I'm like, "Oh, well, okay. You just there's a break." Right? You might break for 3 years, you might break for 6 months, you might break for whatever, right? Like right now I'm going to take an allergy break. Be right back. Back. See? It was really short. And it might be longer. But it's all in the timing. It's great. I think it's David Ives wrote a play wrote an anthology called All in the Timing. Look at that. Change your focus. So, say you've been working on your power. You've been working on your place in your life, in your world, right? And you're having a problem detaching, letting go. You're having that difficulty, right? How many people can say, I just, it's so hard to let go because I worked so hard on this one project and, and when you start referring to people as projects, that's a red flag. Okay. I've actually heard people, refer to other people as projects, right? Like, oh my God, they were like when you start doing that, whew, red flag for the self, right? So detaching. All right. So Bridget says, I know family's important, but they didn't respect any boundaries that I had for myself or my kids. I feel more at ease with them, with more ease without them around, honestly. So you know what works for you, right? You know what works for you. And it's a great example of standing in your power because Bridget's standing up and saying, hey, this is how I am. And if this had 500 people watching, right? Out of those 500, somebody would say, how dare you? You don't know how lucky you are. Let me tell you. So you just throw in the white flag? Bridget doesn't care because Bridget knows what works for her and her family. So you have to understand that when you start looking at your world, right, you have to realize it's not just your world. And you have to realize that your shell that you're putting stuff in, right, this beautiful shell that you have, right, and you're looking at this beautiful shell, put the right stuff in so that shell radiates and glows and nurtures you. Not one that makes you toxic and angry and mad. You've seen it. I've seen students take a class and they're so excited to take that class. Like, oh my God, like, oh my God, I saved all my money. Here's the first thing if you ever, like, it's very, very sad. But I saved all my money because I really, really wanted to do this, right? And my mom said, if I really want to do it, then I have to pay for it myself. So I told the teacher, I said, hey, I'm saving money. I really want to take the class. Da, 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 da. And then he took the class and he was so disappointed because he had all these expectations of what the class was going to be, right? He's heard these amazing stories. He's heard amazing things like, oh, this casting director's going to come in, or oh, this paranormal investigator is going to be at this investigation. It's going to be great for me to network. That is the word that I can't stand, right? And any artist worth their salt will say they hate that word too. Networking. Now, meeting people, that's great. Meeting people and respecting people and respecting their boundaries and not blowing up their Facebook or their Instagram or, saying, hey, I saw that you're doing this show, or I said, oh, I saw this, da, 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 and putting them in awkward positions. That's not great, right? You want them to put you in the network. You want them to say, hey, I met this guy or this gal. I met this amazing artist or this amazing investigator. Let me tell you, they are amazing. And I will tell you, I have seen it happen in movies. I've seen it happen on investigations. I've seen it happen in classes. I've done it. I've had friends do it, right? The person who doesn't ask, right? Who would not in a million years ask, right? Is the one who will get the invitation. Because they're out busting their ass every day, manifesting their desires. They're putting the two streams together so you can catch the ghost, like in Ghostbusters, and then bring it down and put it in the trap. Right? Boom. Koosh. If you look at that picture, the guy's manifest, his hands are open. They're not closed. They're open. You've got to be open. But you're also, if you see, he's looking. He's looking. There's an obstacle in front of him. So nothing is going to come and hit him in the stomach, right? He's protected. So his balance, no one's going to come and knock him off of his balance. He's got the voice for the blue. He's got the red for the grounding. So he's speaking true, and he's firmly connected to source. And he's cloaked in purple. Royalty, authority. He or she has earned their place. He or she may have to turn down that invitation because he or she is busting their butt doing this, that, these, and those. So another invitation comes. Right? But they're not doing it for invitations. They're doing it because they love what they do. They love the work. When you see a holistic worker, you see an investigator, and they love what they're doing, right? And they're not doing it for likes, or they're not doing it for a TV show, or they're not doing it for this, that, these, or those. They're doing it because this is something that sparks fire in their heart and in their soul. They're like, oh my God, I love it so much. Can you believe when that person walked in here, right? That person over there walked in, right? I saw him, right? Or her, and their eyes were just so like big, you know? And they're like, oh my God. It's like really like Ghostbusters. You aren't going to like throw out lasers or anything, are you? Right? But you're a part of that. You're a part of that. You get to be a part of that crazy moment. Right? You get to experience someone's first time doing this, that, these, or those. When I first started doing readings, and the first ones I did, I was like, oh, okay, this is, and I was lucky because I had boundaries, right? A lot of these people who are claiming to be intuitives and mediums, and they are, right? But they don't know about the morals and the rules and the values, or they know about them, but they don't care, right? It's all about getting the likes on YouTube. It's all about getting the likes on TikTok. It's all about this, that, these, and those. And I've been there, right? People, we just have to focus on the healing of it and the uncovering of it, right? That's what's important. Learning truths, finding out what truths are, detaching from the bullshit. Detach from the right? We have to detach. We have to let go. Right? We do the job and we walk away. And that one that gives rules, do the job, walk away. Right? Abounds. Opportunities abound. Right? My friend works now more than anybody I know. Because even when he was working, right? Like I was talking about, right? Wouldn't ask for one favor from anybody. Like, oh, can you put me on the set? Oh, can you do this? Can you do that? No. The reason why he worked and works this day so much is he doesn't ask anything from anybody. But he gives people opportunities left and right. That phone call. If you've ever been an artist or an actor or a singer or a dancer, they talk about those phone calls. Investigators who are like pitching TV shows and stuff, same thing. They wait for that phone call. And the hard stuff that comes with that phone call, like, oh, we like you, but we don't like this person, and we want to put this person in the show, or oh, we're thinking about going to Kentucky to like do this like massive thing, but so we can only afford you and the new person, who has like 1 million followers on YouTube and Instagram. We think it'll be good for the project. And you have choices to make. What do you put into your auric field? What do you say yes to? And what do you say no to? What do you fight for? What do you stand for? There's no feeling in the world that's amazing as when you have a whole group of people who believe the same thing. It's like Spartacus. They asked him, they all stand up, right? So I'm Spartacus. You're Spartacus. I'm Spartacus. Right? So this unification, this unity, and one things that we're talking about is para-unity, right? Bringing the unknown and making it known to everyone. No matter race, creed, religion, sex, orientation, doesn't matter, political affiliation. The unknown, the supernatural, the holistic world, the metaphysical world, the paranormal world, all these things, they're so big, right? They're so big. There's so much room for everyone, and there's all these different little kinds of, areas you can go, right? And you might be manifesting. I talked to a friend of mine the other day, and my friend was like, "I'm just manifesting," and because I know this person, I know what that means. I'm working my ass off. I'm going to work every day, but when I go to work, I write my gratitude journal. I want a better job, right? I told my wife the other day, uh, the job I recently got has made me learn that I'm grateful for this job. I'm grateful, very grateful, right? But it's also inspired me to do what I love. And sometimes we will come to those conclusions where we look at the world, right? We look at the world and we're like, ooh. And you never thought that world was going to show you these things. They never thought, so you're doing that job, right? Or you're doing that. And well, here's a little inspiration. Boom, it hits you in the face like, ba, 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 ba. And this music comes out of nowhere. And this lights and everything. You're like, oh, okay. So I'm doing this, and this is really cool. And and oh, I'm inspired. I got inspired at work. I pulled a Tennessee Williams. I started writing on the back of a shoebox, right? These are the things that happen. Inspiration comes in the strangest times. Is it raining? It is raining. The strangest opportunities, right? From the strangest people. And from the most normal people as well, right? You're like, I never even thought about that, right? I never even thought about that, right? I never thought about, well, hey, I got a job under my voice is entertain people. Why would, this is really good, right? Because I had to change my focus. I had to accept that the speed that my life was going, click, 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 I wanted to go faster. We all wanted to go faster. We're like, I want success, damn it. I want to sit back and not worry about bills. I want to make sure my son or my daughter has a good life, right? I want that. And if you feel that people in your life, like Richard just said, view you as a project, turn it around on them. If they view you not as a person, but as an object, right? You you show them. Maybe they're blind. Maybe they don't have a clue. Maybe there's something in the air. You know, maybe there's something that's just really messed with them, that they feel that they have to do this, that, these, and those, right? And so they consider you not you, but this object, this project, this canvas that they are going to paint on, and that they then are going to market, and then they are going to sell, and they're going to decide where that canvas hangs. You very nicely and politely say, I will hang on the wall I choose to hang on. My canvas will be what I so desire. And if you don't like it, tough cookies. Tough cookies. Because that is how you stay in power. You detach from other people's belief of who you are, right? That's very important. Okay. You look at who you are realistically. Who you are realistically. Really. Not who you want to be, right? And all these other people, these people's viewpoints of who you are, like they're like, oh, and they don't resonate at all with you. Like, no. But the people who are close to you, right? That's the people you listen to a little bit more. The people who really genuinely care about you and care about your growth as a human being, as a beautiful person in a not so beautiful world sometimes. That's where you're like, oh, well, you may think you're Batman and you're really Green Lantern, right? You may think that you're filthy rich, right? And you don't need any kind of supernatural abilities at all, right? You're just the greatest detective in the world. Okay. But you may need help, right? You may need help. You may need to be Green Lantern. You may, that identity, actualization of who you are really, right? I mean, I could go up and dress up as this, that, these, and those, right? But if I don't have the metal and I don't have the composites and the elements and all that jazz, then I'm just going to be like clothes on a rack, just like there, right? I'm not going to be I'm going to be something else. I'm not going to be me. I'm just going to look like clothes on a rack. I'm going to look thrown together, and I have been that person. Where I have had the nicest suit you could possibly imagine, nicest tie, nicest shoes, I'd go to these theater conferences, and I would look like I thought $1 million. And then I'd go back to the hotel, and I'd look at myself, and I'd be like, well, we have there's a project here that we need to address. You need to find out who you are and what you want in life. When you start discovering these things, right, you find your purpose, you find your passion, you find your power. Some people have lost their power, right? And we'll talk about it probably next week. What happens when you lose your power? How do you get it back? But here, we want to keep it. That's what tonight's about, keeping your power. Not let other people come in and put stuff in your shell, right? So they can control, they can take over your shell. They can be like, okay, well, I have that little in there, and he can move his arm here. And like they become your puppet masters. No, cut the strings. All right, look at this. We got a blade right here. Cut the strings. Click, click, click. right? Cut the strings. They talk about cut the cords in metaphysical and holistic world. Cut the cords. Cut them. You no longer serve me, right? You no longer serve my highest good, my highest purpose. I disconnect, right? I disconnect. I reaffirm my purpose and my promises to myself so that I can be who I know I am, because I know me. I finally know me, right? You see this a lot in wrestling. So a wrestler will get a gimmick, right? And because the people know, like the bookers know, like, oh, okay, this is what's going to happen, right? They have this idea, they see it, like, right? And the other guy's like, but I was just like a 1950s like detective. I don't know. Now you want me to go out and be what? Right? But they take the opportunity, right? They take it and they make the best of it. They may fall flat on their ass, right? But they succeed because they learned. They took a failure and made it a win. They took an L and made it a W, right? Not all losses are losses. It's how you put them together, right? It's how you say, okay, that loss was, okay, that was that. But I learned. And so now I can fly. So a loss, right? Put it together. Your losses, put them together and fly. Transform. Roll out. Right? I don't mean gimmick infringement. Don't be paramount. Right? But it's true. Right? Right? That's what you want. You want to go out. You want to say, finally, hey, you know what? I was a 1950s like person. And then I fell flat on my ass. I got knocked in the head. I was like, okay, I'm going to ride this out. Right? You see this in TV shows and movies all the time. These characters will come on. I think it's Steve Urkel, supposed to be one, like just like a guest character, like boom, right? And he came on and everybody loved him, right? The young man who just died on Friends, I wasn't a big Friends person, but who did the coffee and everything. Don't quote me on this, but he got the job because he could do the coffee. He had a purpose, and he did it with a passion, and he became a character, right? I love seeing on Facebook. I'm a member of like all the background groups and everything, and seeing these people who get bumped up because they're at the right place at the right time. They put the work in. They busted their ass. I tell people who are wanting to becoming storytellers, actors, producers, directors, I say, go work on a set. Try to find a set you can work on for like 3 months, right? You don't have to be the like number one like background person, whatever. All you have to do is show up on time and leave, help people clean up, do other stuff, do things without kissing ass, because it's a very very fine line, and without stepping on toes, right? Without stepping on toes, right? Or breaking rules, especially if it's a union project. But helping and assisting, people notice that stuff. Even in the biggest of even in the smallest of projects, right? An investigation, same thing. I tell people, you want to be an investigator? Call people and say, hey, no, we don't have any room. We have no room. Okay, that's cool. I just want to sit. I don't have to go in. I just want to sit at base camp. I'll put the batteries in. Eventually, someone's going to say, hey, you know what? You've been out in this cold. Like, come on in. Like, it's fine. Maybe. Or you're wanting to produce a show. You're wanting to understand how to learn how to produce a show. Find a producer. Become their assistant, right? You may work for chump change at first, right? But if you become one of those people who that producer has to have, that you have become essential to their auric field, making their life easy. Because the producer's life is not easy at all. It's very difficult, dealing with money and time and talents and their demands and all this other stuff. You make their life easy, chances are you are going to find yourself in their auric field more and more often. So opportunity. How do you embrace your opportunities? That power. And this is slippery slope because opportunities present themselves, right? I can't tell you how many times I've done readings. I'm like, oh, I see opportunities, the cards say opportunities. And you have to be very clear when you're talking to the client about that because they see opportunities. They hear the word, oh, money, job, new love life. And it may be, not to take all the air out of the tire, right? Or the air out of the balloon. It may be you have opportunity to meet somebody who's really going to make you happy, right? Who's really going to bring joy into your life. It might not be in a relationship sense. It could be just as a person, right? It could be somebody you could just BS with and like help you on. You can help them and they can help you on this journey called life. Find balance. That's another way how you maintain your present self and power. You've got to balance everything, right? In my job, they call it workflow, right? Managing your workflow, how you work from point A to B to C, from A screen to B screen to C screen, how you work, right? And I can tell you, my workflow's off. Whoo-wee, I'm off. I'm like, oh my God, right? We've all like that. Something's off. Like right now, we don't have hot water in the house, right? That's a thing. And today I was like, oh, we don't have hot water. And you don't realize how blessed you are because things are just there, right? Like garbage disposal. It's just there, right? Some people or having clean water, right? Or a roof over your head or a car you can drive, right? Some of these things are just there for people, right? What we have to understand is that's their life. Our life is this, right? Your life is this. My life is this, right? If we start comparing other people's lives, right, to our own, you might take that canvas and say, we'll just do Jackson Pollock and we're just going to throw, it's going to be like beautiful, but like only a few people are going to see the creativity in it. Some people are like, did you just throw like blots of paint on a wall because you watched the Jackson Pollock documentary? Is that what happened? Right? You've got to understand who you are. You've got to understand who your friend is, who your colleague is, or who your acquaintance is. And you can appreciate their life and you can work for the stuff that they have, right? I watched the Shaquille O'Neal was talking about today. When first $1 million he got, he went through it in a day. Right? And he says, I just learned. I asked people who had money, who were going through how do you work with FICA and how do you do what do you mean? And he learned, right? He learned that, I'm going to invest in the Ring, the thing for the the alarm. He was one of the first investors I learned that today. So we have to find the balances, guys. That's what we do. We look at all the losses, right? All the losses, and we say, okay, what can I learn from the losses? Right? Some actors I know will have what they call the circular bin, right? Circular file. Most people, that means a trash can, right? That's what that means. But I knew a few actors who every audition they didn't get, right? They would look at those scenes and they would learn those scenes. Now they wouldn't harp. They wouldn't harp like, oh, I'm so mad I didn't get it. No, it was okay. So I know I didn't get this scene. I didn't get this audition because A, they changed it to a female. B, they changed the ethnicity. Whatever. Right? They would watch the show. Oh, the scene got cut. Okay, cool. When you know your product, when you know the work, right? When you know your purpose, guess what? You're prosperous. Guess what? You're powerful. Knowledge is power. That is how you maintain a balance of the self. That is how you maintain your purpose, right? Your power. You don't let other people come in and be like, hey, you know what? Hey, Bill. Hey, yeah. And that's all you hear. That's it. And that conversation was not, but a writer might say, oh, that conversation. Hey, Bill. Yeah. I'm going to go with that. I'm going to take that. I'm going to put it in my bin. And I'm just going to, maybe one day I'll pull it out. Right? Taking things in this world, taking the L's and making them W's so you can transform and fly. And knowing that you are destined to change. You are destined to transform. You are destined for this, that, these, and those. Don't let people tell you that you're not. Don't let some counselor sitting across a desk tell you, try to give you this hard love, these hard knock lessons. You're not going to go to college. You're not going to go to college you want to go to. You have a better chance of beating Mike Tyson's ass, as my dad would say. Right? I say at least I got in the damn ring. You decide if you want to get in the ring. Isn't there a Guns N' Roses song, Get in the Ring? I feel like there is. On User Illusion 2, the yellow one, I believe, Get in the Ring. I think they're talking about publicity and stuff. Think. I'm getting old. Dreams coming true. Now, for some people, they'll be like, oh, no, I'm having bad dreams. I don't want those dreams to go true. No. The caterpillar coming to life and like eating me. I don't want that dream. No. Right? But the other dreams, those dreams that you're working, right? The dreams that you're manifesting, right? You're taking the balance of the two energies, the voice and the grounding energy of the self, and you're putting them together, right? And you're making that balance. You're taking the two streams, the Ghostbuster thing, woo, right? So you could, boom, bring the ghost down, right? So you can capture. So you can capture, so you can explore, so you can learn, right? That's the key, and also maintaining your power. When you start knowing more about yourself, right? The self-discovery, the growths that start happening for you start to make roots. Roots provide stability, also provide nurturing. So as you let those roots hit that earth, quote unquote, right? Not only are you getting strength, right, and support, you're getting nurtured. You're becoming a part of a system, right? You're becoming a instrument, right? So a bird may come and sit on your branch. You may offer shelter to a squirrel, right? You may inspire somebody because they're like, oh, wow, that just happened, right? Oh my God. I was on an investigation. Oh my God. The person did shaving a haircut, and the way he did it or the way she did it, like, oh my God. They were fun. They were like, and they were respectful, and like, I feel inspired. Like, I want to do it. I want to do it when the world's ready for me to do it. Right? I want to do it. I press the button. Looney Tunes, right? Looney Tunes. Press the button. But it'll go down the hole, up the hole, it'll go down the hole. I can't do that voice. Not yet, at least. But we have to start moving on. We have to start moving on. And we have to choose our own battles. And battles of the self are some of the hardest things there are. They really are. They are so difficult. They're so difficult because if we don't find that balance, then we start to forget about the flow of who we are. We forget to acknowledge where we came from. We forget to acknowledge that we had these losses, but you know what? We made those losses into wins, and those wins turned into butterflies, and we flew the hell high. Like eagles were like, "Oh my God, like you're up here too? Oh my God, that's amazing. Can we do something together? Can we work together?" So I'm gonna throw some cards in here to finish up the night. I appreciate everybody tuning in. Okay, so here we go. Don't let anyone take your power. Don't let anyone take your place. You've earned it. You've let those roots grow. You really say, "I didn't know about roots." Let them go now. We ready? Here we go. Change your focus. If it's not working, change it. Doing the same thing over and over again with the same result is what? Insanity. Right? Flow. Right? Learn how you flow. Learn the workflow. Right? Learn what works for you, how you work. Right? That will allow you to spread your wings. When you start learning, right, how you work, what's your modalities, right? You might say, "Oh, I'm a pet communicator," or, "Oh, I just work on changing energies of the homes, not of people, because people are complex, but houses, I get it, I understand. They're like holodecks on Star Trek." You start to take the lead in your life. See that beautiful yellow? You start to create. When you start to create, you believe and you succeed. These people who are saying this, that, these, and those on this level, on that level, on this vibration, that vibration, right? The stuff that you really should be hearing, the real stuff, not the stuff you want to hear, right? I can't tell you how many times I've been in the classroom, the teacher says this, right? But the student hears that. And they blame the teacher. No. You heard what you wanted to hear, right? And that's when taking the lead sometimes can be dangerous. Again, you got to know your purpose. You got to know your place. You might not be ready to take the lead yet. Not saying you won't be, but you might not be ready yet. So believe in yourself. Believe that, hey, this time right here, right in this little moment, we're working on this, that, these, and those. And this little thing here is going to become that big thing there. You know why? Because I believe, and I believe that this is going to succeed. Because that thing is not a project. That thing is something important. That thing is magic, quote unquote. That thing is spiritual. That thing comes from source. That thing comes from the creative vigor, right? Whatever that is, that job, that work, right? Put that energy in it. Put that rightful energy in it. Believe in it and succeed. And look at that success and growth. Look at that. The tree. You can't make that shit up. The tree. You start becoming, as you ground, you become successful and you start growing, right? You start growing and people are like, "Oh my God, he's so big." You like when kids grow, kids are growing up. Like I have a 9-month-old and they just went like, "Oh my God, he stood up. Oh my goodness." He's going to be walking like, I'm going to have all my fragile stuff. He's like, "Hey, Daddy, what's this?" Boom! Like, no! Right? Healing begins. So just because this happens and that happens doesn't mean that loss is a loss. You turn it into a win. You learn from it. You say, "Okay, don't want this to happen again. I fell when I was running the trail here because there's a root. So I'm going to be aware that there's a root there. So I'm going to make sure I jump over that root or I avoid that completely and I go this way." There's many ways to Oz, not just one. That allows you to find a balance. Circle. If you have not watched Wheel of Time on Amazon.com, I highly recommend it. If you're looking for something in between Lord of the Rings and Game of Thrones, that's your bet. Opportunity beckons. When you find that balance and that wheel spins, you're like, oh, life's a gamble of opportunities. What you do when you get that opportunity, that's gonna make you or break you. It's the truth. Okay. Learn how to detach from the losses. Learn how to say, okay, don't let it infest you. Don't let it infect you. Be like, if I would have done it this way, I'd be better. I've been successful, but because I didn't, I'm a failure. I don't understand. Right? Look for the love that abounds in your life. Look for people who love you, who support you, who believe in you, right? Who are the people who will be like, hey, they'll call you and be like, hey, you want to be a part of this project? No strings attached. Really, no strings attached. I just think you're great. And I like being around you. You might call bullshit, but I've seen that happen and heard it happen countless times. Countless times. Manifest. Manifest the opportunities to come. You know, I've told the story. I lost my job, and I was like, I don't know what I'm gonna do. I was getting ready to get married, and I was like, oh my god, and out of the blue, one of my old clients was shooting a movie, shooting a TV series, and by damn, I was working on it. Right? Now, we just have to manifest and respect the manifest. It's a process. Just because you manifested something one way and you got automatic results, like, yay, automatic results, yay. Right? That's great. It's not always going to happen. Like, I really like my cat Avalon to come back, right? I really would like that. That would be great. I'd love it. I miss seeing the little guy up there. But, you know, I'm taking this time now where I go out and I walk and, you know, look at the moon and the stars and appreciate, like, the reason why I call him Avalon and knowledge and, you know, because named after a family friend. And, you know, learn to appreciate the little things. Take a loss, make it a win. That's when your dreams start becoming true. That's when you don't have to choose a battle, because there are none. Because you moved on. Because it's not a win or a loss. It's always a win. You don't see it as a loss. You see it as a win. You've changed the perspective. You've changed everything. It's like you looked at the Matrix, right? And you're like, oh, that pill. Not red or blue. I have like this other pill over here, and I can like look into stuff and like it's like I'm like a puppet master. It's like great. Okay, like it's an orange pill. Okay, cool. Because I know. Because you know. Because Captain Planet knows the power is yours. It's true. The power is yours. So, ladies and gentlemen, if you have any questions, put them in the thing and I'll answer them. We got a few minutes here. But I want to thank you all for watching, tuning in. If you have any ideas for next week's episode, just shoot me an email, sundaysPursuits@gmail.com. Or you can always email me at the eccentricmedium@gmail.com. If you want an appointment, email me at the eccentricmedium@gmail.com. And we're working on getting the graphics up and all that kind of stuff. We were just getting stuff ready. Like I said, by this time next year, you should have like, you know, backdrop and lights and everything, and you shot in a real nice camera and all that. I'm manifesting it. Taking the streams, the voice and the root, and put them together, right? And climbing up the clouds. All right. Let's see if Facebook has anything. Didn't think it did, but we'll just see. Nope. All right. So Bridget said life's a garden. Virginia said love turning L's into W's. We talked about family. We talked about boundaries with the family. We talked about power, purpose, working to understand who you are, realistically who you are. That's important. I highly believe that. I highly believe self-identity is key into success, right? Protection of the self is key to success. All right, ladies and gentlemen, that's all I got for tonight. I know it's 9:51, but I appreciate you. So I'll end with a little song. Onward, upward, greatness abounds. Soak up that humanity when you turn around. Life is healing, and healing is life. So get on your journey. Don't ever say goodbye. Say I'll see you soon, because life's a garden. Dig on, brother. Dig on, sister. Onward, upward, greatness abounds. Soak up that humanity, create your art, and make your impact. We are the army of now, so we won't have armies tomorrow. No, we'll have dances and prances and 5 golden rings. Sorry, a little too soon. Not even Thanksgiving yet. A little too soon. So take your time. Enjoy the weekend. Thank you all so much for tuning in. Like and share this if you will. Like I said, if you have ideas for a show, please send them to the email. And I appreciate you. Cannot tell you how much I appreciate your energy and your time. I know there's other things you could be doing on Sunday, like watching a Survivor Series, WWE. So that's what I'm going to do. All right. Much love, baby. Much love, much love. Light, love. Uga Sooth, healing is life, and life is healing. I'm outie. Thank you for tuning in to Sundays with Suits at the Wolf Bear Den at Trinity Station.